With advancement in sleep technologies, CPAP still reigns as the gold standard for sleep apnea.
CPAP is the gold standard. And it could be Bilevel or APAP if they're non-compliant with CPAP. Even nowadays, after 30 years, CPAP is the forced air from 4 to 20, right? Because CPAP can go as high as 20. However, when ASM updated their titration protocol, when the CPAP reaches 15 and there's still events, you can switch the patient to Bilevel mode. You can start at 19/15 on Bilevel spontaneous. You can switch it from 15 of IPAP and EPAP of 11, or you can restart over the titration at 8 IPAP and 4 EPAP. Okay, so it depends on your approach. This can also vary based on your medical director or lab protocol. Okay. And this can also include supplemental oxygen. Remember that when you include supplemental oxygen, it's when the patient is in CPAP or room air, but their saturation stays below 89% for more than 5 minutes. Most importantly, if the patient is still on diagnostic and they maintain a low saturation. But when your patients have low saturations, you don't just jump and add supplemental oxygen. You have to troubleshoot first. You have to check if, you have to switch fingers, okay? You have to check the cabling. Is it giving a false reading, right? You don't just jump into conclusion that this patient have desaturations in room air, right? It's very important to troubleshoot first. And after you tested it, you move the finger probe from one finger to the other. If it stays very similar, you move it to the other hand, right? Because sometimes it's false positive. The patient could be leaning on that hand or that finger is bent, and then you call it desaturation and you apply O2. Right? You can't do that. You have to troubleshoot first. Once you troubleshoot a couple of times and you identify that the patient is having desaturations in room air, then you can go ahead and apply O2. However, we have a topic on O2, supplemental O2, and also CO2. So it's not as simple as that, right? There depends on the situation as well. And titration, when titrating patients, you can't just apply supplemental oxygen if you haven't maximized the titration. For example, you are titrating the patient and now you are at 15/11, okay, on Bilevel titration, and the patient ends up with a hypopnea. And the patient is already, it's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and you're having hypopneas. You can always increase the IPAP without increasing the EPAP. So you're technically increasing the pressure support. Understood? So when you increase pressure support, you're technically increasing the volume of air, the tidal volume that the patient can actually have. So when increasing pressure support, it increases possible tidal volume. So when you increase tidal volume, increases the possibility of absorbing more oxygen. So that can address the residual hypopneas. It can also address desaturation, hypopneas, snoring, and all the rarest, which are now all hypopneas. So is that clear? Again, to restate, when you increase only the IPAP, you leave the EPAP, you're increasing the pressure support. When you increase pressure support, you're increasing a possible tidal volume. When you increase tidal volume, it addresses hypopneas and desaturations as well as snoring. All right, treatment options again. We have CPAP, we have APAP, particularly for patients with more severe events during REM, okay? And then you also have Bilevel when the patients cannot tolerate CPAP or they have persistent obstructive apnea at a pressure of 15 centimeters water pressure on CPAP. So if the patient's on CPAP of 15, still having OSA, you can switch them to Bilevel. All right.